Well, now, despite those inflationary pressures, American shoppers do intend to spend more on back-to-school supplies this year than last year. Now, that's according to a new survey conducted by Jefferies. Let's bring in one of the authors behind the study, Corey Tarlowe, Jefferies Vice President of Equity Research. Good to see you here, Corey. So for some of us parents out here, we're really feeling the pain here. Why is everything so much more expensive, and where are we seeing the biggest markup this year?
Great. Well, thank you for having me. I think that the reason that things are so much more expensive is clear as, and it's inflation. According to the survey that we did, we conducted a survey of 600 consumers in the US. And what we found that was interesting is that 50% of the people who we surveyed actually intend to spend more into back to school. But clicking a little deeper, 70% actually cited inflation as the primary reason that they're spending more. And as you click down by category, interestingly enough, apparel was one category where people are not only planning to spend more, but also even perhaps buy more units. So 50% of people plan to spend more in dollars on apparel. And again, that's because of inflation. And then 30% of people plan to buy more units in this category.
See, Corey, Rachelle is better than me because I would finna be right next to my student, right next to my kid in class if I'm spending all this money. I'm getting the education too. I'm brushing up on some of that stuff. I'm spending all that just for back to school. But, you know, all of this spending considered, what does this really tell us or forecast about the rest of the year? Because it's making it through back to school, but also making it to the holiday season that many consumers might also be thinking about. And that credit card debt starting to rack up a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So we have seen a consumer that's overall a little bit more resilient than what we expected, but we are seeing credit card debt continue to pile on for many consumers in the US. And so as a result of that, and the survey data that we conducted actually showed this, is that private label is becoming an increasing area of focus. And you mentioned that buying many branded items can be a pain point for you. Well, store branded items, particularly private label at a retailer like Walmart, are really resonating strongly with a lot of consumers in the US. And so our survey data indicated that 77% of respondents are actually likely to spend more on store brand items. And so as I think about a retailer that could benefit from this, it's Walmart, because Walmart has, at least in the US, a private label business that's over 20% of sales. And that's a $400 billion enterprise in the US that, again, is over 20% private label. So that's $80 billion in private label sales. And that's one thing that I expect that well positions Walmart not only into back to school, but into holiday as well.
And what about the companies who used to benefit from this? Obviously, they're losing some market share now to the Walmarts of the world. Who's then falling off then if Walmart is now picking up the benefit of this?
Well, I think Walmart's definitely taking a lot of share from many players in the retail space, whether it's traditional grocers or other mass players, or even some convenience stores. So it's definitely a business that is gaining a lot of share, not only online, but also in stores. So far, at least quarter to date, we've seen Walmart comp up in the mid-single digits based on where they've guided. And then Target is comping down in discretionary categories in the low double digit to mid-teens in categories like home or apparel and hardlines. So there may be some continued underperformance in that category ahead at Target, and perhaps a little bit of better performance at Walmart ahead.